Mama, good morning to you.
Well, good morning. How you guys doing?
Yeah.
We're good.
We're good.
Yeah,
We're good. I had some
nice.
tilapia yesterday.
Hey,
It was good. Yeah.
you are braver than most.
Yeah.
You know, Roland, on a normal day, when we haven't had a scare, like a tilapia scare, it's not good for him. So I'm surprised he would say at this time that. But it's all good. I mean, yeah.
It's a nice tilapia.
Good morning if you're just joining us. You missed the news,
Yeah.
but you haven't missed the
I
newspapers.
forgot this one. You're a pharmacist, Sally for Combat. You're at the Boku Presbyterian Hospital. Please, good morning to you, pharmacist Sally for Combat, as well as your wife. She's an assistant superintendent of the immigration service. She's at the Misiga border. Florence, good morning to you as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
I forgot this one. Rich Love Mba. You are a manager of Oak Plaza Suites in
Kumasi is the other
building.
Kumasi the back up.
Rich Love, but guys, Rich Love is a lovely lady. If you need to get accommodation there, give her a call.
You have a
She'll give you
reputation.
service
With
a
Now,
smile.
let's do what we're paid to sit here to do. We're doing the
have a
newspapers up next. We'll tell you what's making headlines in the newspapers and feast on a few of the stories.
Hey,
And then
feast
we'll-
I even
on
forgot. Honorable Obiama, good morning to you. Member of Parliament for Ipiapim South, Deputy Minister, Local Government.
Okay, we're not doing this. Let's go straight into the newspapers.
I'm
Gomez.
so tempted to do one
I've
more.
got the Ghanaian Times newspaper.
To be a woman, we're afraid.
Let's do the front page of the Ghanaian Times now. Distribution of broadcast signals. It's our job to appoint CEO, Board of Directors of CDTCL. That's the NMC, the National Media Commission. I wonder where they've been all this while, but they're talking now. Nana Kwesi Jan Appinting is the chairman of the NMC. A picture of him right there on the front page of the paper. Also, 5 perish in freak accident at Bonso Junction. Prosecution ends case against Afoko. KNUST Council tasked to restore order as student pack out of campus. Ghana needs National Sanitation Authority. Lord Paul Boateng, a former United Kingdom High Commissioner to South Africa, has reiterated the need for the establishment of a National Sanitation Authority. And I'm smiling because I wonder what difference this would make. Back page of the paper, though, still the Ghanaian Times newspaper. Poor roads causing post-harvest losses in Napdam district, according to farmers there. PSC Tema Shipyard cries for help. So these are the 2 stories on the back page of the Ghanaian Times newspaper.
All
Do you want to go?
Yeah, I want to do. The Daily Guide newspaper has 4 ministers storm KNUST over student riots, grill vice president in the process.
Vice Chancellor.
Oh, vice chancellor, sorry. And then we also have 2 die in Mahama convoy in BA and Afoko to open defense. Ghana on right path, the story attributed to the vice president. Let's go to the center spread. Sidi Kubwari is there, calls for unity among musicians, and I like tall, handsome men like Kojo Yankson. That's coming from Adwa Smart. She's 46 years now.
Oh, she's
I like
blessed.
tall, handsome men. Right. Kojo Yankson, Adwa Smart, Kojo Yankson, Adwa Smart. It's not bad. Nice combination.
We look good together.
Yeah. Drake beats the Beatles, US chart record. It's ongoing.
Oh, yeah. Drake beats the Beatles.
Yeah.
Drake beats the Beatles.
All right.
Yeah.
Daily Dispatch. Daily Dispatch newspaper. KNUST crisis. Over 30 vehicles destroyed, but the SRC says we won't pay for damages. Kelny starts operations as government compensates Suba with 200 million Ghana cedis. Those are the stories. All right.
Yeah. Okay, I've got the Daily Graphic and the Finder. In the graphic, KNUST crisis, stakeholders in crunch meeting. I'm guessing this headline was put together sometime last night while the meeting was ongoing. Sierra Leonean president visits Ibrahine. Media Commission petitions president over DTT platform. That's an important one. And on the back page of the Daily Graphic, Ministry of Food and Agriculture takes delivery of 3,000 motorbikes for distribution to extension officers. Okay. Also, samples of dead tilapia sent abroad for investigations. Wow. We still don't know what killed this tilapia. We're sending them abroad for investigation.
But I thought usually we'll go to Noguchi. It's like
yeah. But we do have some final tests that can only be done abroad. But some preliminary eliminations can be done at Noguchi. The fact that they're sending it abroad probably means that whatever it is still yet to be identified. But I wonder why. It's been several days now, and it's a surprise to me that the director of the Fisheries Commission, who is photographed here and quoted in the story, says we cannot pinpoint what actually caused the death of the fish now, and we do not want to speculate. So let's all wait for the findings from the research to get the answers. All right, Finder newspaper has these. NMC bears teeth over government's plan to appoint board and CEO for independent company to manage DTT.
That's in Wafe one sing.
Yeah.
NMC bears teeth over government's plan to appoint a board, CEO for independent company to manage DTT.
True story.
So who was going to appoint the DTT?
Government is appointing.
A board.
Government is appointing. And I think the NMC has a different idea of who should appoint. I'll give you the details later. After amnesty, GRA now ready to bite hard. Lots of teeth and biting in the Finder newspaper today. But that headline there is attributed to Kofinti of the GRA. KNUST crisis requires high intervention. That's what government, or Kojo Nkrumah, is saying. Abolish exams, Professor Jegede urges African universities. Even kindergarten crowd, we are doing exams. You say university should abolish. We'll see how that conversation is received by those in education who think exams are the only way. What else do we have?
I've got the Today newspaper, front page of the Today, and then we will do the Daily Statesman as well. But first, let's do the Today front page. Jamestown installs new chief. PwC on Woyome's tail as it investigates his assets. Calm returns to KNUST as students vacate campus. Family takes on judge of Ada Circuit Court. These are the stories making the front page of the Today. Let's do the Daily Statesman. Front page of the Daily Statesman. State recruit 2,700 extension officers. Fritz slams Mahama, accuses JDM of choosing half-baked boys and girls. Ghana leads the way on free SHS as Sierra Leone gets ready to learn.
All right, we have the Herald newspaper as well. Ghana architectural firm sweeps awards in Dubai. A banner headline, however, is Attorney General's witness runs from his claims against Opuni. Okay, details are within. Also, Senator Rawlings blasts government over economic hardship. Disagrees with parents. Oh, okay. You are not working, just chopping. Franklin Kujo tells Standards Authority third deputy CEO. And Franklin Kujo has been incurring the wrath of many people in government. The most recent person to decide to take him on is the third person appointed as deputy CEO at the Ghana Standards Authority. Must be a lot of work to be done there for them to need 3 deputy CEOs. They are certainly not the only institution that has 3 deputy CEOs. Many of them do. And so the Prados just keep on being assigned. Maybe we'll touch on that a bit later.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. Is it just about the Prados, or is it about what work they are not doing or doing?
Well, the Prados are, what's the word that they use when you use one literary device to represent the whole? Is it onomatopoeia?
I think it should be about the substantive matter of what work they're doing or not doing, not necessarily what we think or assume is happening.
It's still about that. I'm saying it's a literary device. So when you refer to the kingdom or the king as the throne, you don't mean that it's all about the chair he sits on.
I get you. But sometimes I feel like we should move away from the street talk so that we don't get people also saying the same things that we're saying.
But on the street,
there are instances that people are sitting there not doing anything, and if we can bring that out instead of the,
Well, on the street, it is street talk, but street talk leads to our kind of talk, which is what you're referring to. We have to ask ourselves.
Let me take the story. You're done? Or we're not doing any story yet?
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
We're not doing any story. We haven't done any story yet.
Yeah, we'll come back to it.
So let me go to the Today newspaper. 2 stories I'll pick from here. One has to do with... No, I'm not doing Franklin. Kujo is going to do Franklin Kujo. We started the conversation already. Scores of relatives of the late chief Nenemensam Zotevi V, whose corpse was burned at Tehe, suburb of Sege, in the Adan West District of the Greater Accra region, have raised eyebrows over the conduct of the presiding judge who is trying the murder case at the Adan District Circuit Court. The conduct of the judge, according to them, was so appalling to the extent that they find it extremely difficult to collaborate with the police, prosecutor, and court to try the case. It is along this line that they have appealed to the Chief Justice to replace the presiding judge in order to ensure fair trial of the case to allow justice to prevail. You can read on, story filed by Kweku Selassie. Prosper Kweku Selassie is in the Today newspaper. You can read the rest of it. But the other story that I want to pick from the same paper is that of PricewaterhouseCoopers, receivers of the assets and liabilities of the defunct UT Bank, investigating the properties of businessman Alfred Agbeshi Woyome. And according to a partner of the PwC, the businessman owed then UT Bank more than 9 million Ghana cedis and was currently in default of monthly installments. So answering questions and the cross-examination from a Deputy Attorney General and Minister of Justice, Godfred Yeboah Daming, the witness, a partner of PwC, Eric Nipa, told the Supreme Court that he could not recall the exact amounts Mr. Woyome owed the bank. The state is seeking to prove that the PwC and Mr. Woyome were colluding to prevent the sale of 2 mansions belonging to Mr. Woyome to offset part of 47.2 million Ghana cedis he owed the state, following a July 2014 Supreme Court order directing him to refund the money paid to him through a judgment debt. And there's more to what happened in courts. You can read on in the Today newspaper. Guys?
Yeah, okay. Any stories from you?
I think I will want us to continue the discussion on the KNUST crisis. And you had a great discussion.
We should also do the NMC.
You had a great discussion on polls on the subject of, if you look at across board, we seem to be a generation of people who want to answer perhaps a non-response from people in authority with some level of violence. And we've seen it with the political parties, with the vigilante groups, and before then, and within that period, we've seen it with various professional groupings who feels they haven't gotten the mandated posting that are needed, and sometimes they've gone on to do things untoward. And now we've seen it with the generation who are supposed to be students and the next level of leaders that we'll have in our country. And I feel it's a great worry. For example, if you listen to the justification that the students and the student leaders from KNUST, and indeed they seem to have gotten some solidarity with such groupings across the various universities, and those who have just finished school, let's say a year, 2, 3, 4, or 5, just from the university, if you listen to their utterances, it looks as if that there's a certain justification for the violence that the students have perpetrated on the campus of the Kwame Nkrumah University of which has led to destruction of property. Instead of just perhaps jaw-jawing or dialoguing to make sure your grievances are resolved. If you, for example, claim that the Vice-Chancellor was not listening to students, was very draconian in the way he was managing alongside his management, then you have to go back to the appointing authority. More so, we have relevant institutions in our country which will give you the platform for you to air your grievances. There's even the media for you also to air your grievances. And then you could get the ears of those who matter. And I feel that the student didn't exhaust this enough, but it's also because they had been listening to people who are in political leadership or are young generational politicians, and I feel their utterances have also not helped.
Indeed.
And I feel that we need to resolve this, not just resolving how they come back onto campus, but also look at the tone and the temperament of this generation that we have.
Now, you know, there's a wider conversation about the cause of the KNUST situation.
Sure.
And
sure.
I'm with you that, look, lawlessness, rioting, there's no place for it in our society. It shouldn't become the norm at any cost. But at the same time, we need to examine the causes of each individual situation on a case-by-case basis. And with KNUST, it appears that the cause here is the relationship between the Vice-Chancellor and the students. And a lot of these young students on campus took exception to being treated like children, in their words, you know, by their leader. And several people have been putting up posts about it. And someone has just reminded me of the fact that it happens elsewhere as well, in nursing training. You know, when you're going to nursing training college, you still have to take a hoe, a cutlass, and a broom. A teacher training as well, yeah. So there you go. These are adults. These are tertiary institutions. Why do you have to take a hoe and a cutlass and a broom to go and be a nurse?
And even the secondary school, because I took a child to the secondary school recently, what we call it senior high school now, and they were supposed to have a hoe and a cutlass. But the world has moved on. We have mowers. Most of them use most of these young people use washing machines at home. They don't use. So if you can provide laundry, or perhaps the old students can maybe donate or pool resources and provide some laundry services by buying washing machines for the industrial washing machines, etc., like they do elsewhere.
Yeah.
Because the generation has moved on. Are we still keeping them there because we feel that's a discipline, one, or we feel that they need to learn from the hard way, the way we did it? And that has been a mentality, if you look at it, for many of the times.
That's another important aspect of the conversation. I mean, for me, I think it's just a matter of understanding that tertiary institutions are for adults. By the time you get into a tertiary institution, you are no longer a child. You don't need adult supervision. And so some of these things that have led to the unrest on KNUST could have easily been avoided if we had simply understood that if you're in university, you're grown up. You know, if you're in a training college, you're grown up. And some of these things that we force them to do are completely unnecessary. All right, shall we talk about Franklin Cudjoe and this triple deputy thing? To be honest, I think Mama V is right. It's not about Franklin Cudjoe. It's not about some of these, like the what's the word I'm looking for? It's not about the jargon and the slogans and the V8s and all of that. It's about the question of this particular government appointing quite a large number of people and whether we are getting a value. We are getting value from this large number, okay? So the Ghana Standards Authority is not the only place where we've seen 3 deputies. I believe at DVLA there are 3 deputies. In some of the...
don't they have like a deputy in charge of this, a deputy in charge of that? Isn't that how it
yes,
says?
so each deputy is given...
administration,
each deputy is given a certain subtitle, if you like. It's the same with Standards Authority.
Okay. But apart from that, so if you're deputy in charge of administration, is there another person who is head of administration?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay.
But the way they've done it is this. So, for example, at Ghana Standards Authority, they have Charles Amoako. He's the Director General in charge of, Deputy Director General in charge of conformity assessment. Kofi Nagete is Director General in charge of operations. Dr. Edusei, who's the latest one, is in charge of general services. Okay, so look, yeah, you go to any of these institutions and each deputy will be given a title that indicates that they are in charge of something. But the question is, do we need it? The fact that they've been given a title doesn't mean that that job can't be done by someone else, by the Director General himself, for example. It doesn't mean that whatever it is that they are doing there is value for money. They've created a title for them, yes, but that is not how you assess their performance, by their title. We have to check what exactly is being done and whether that work could not have been done without creating a deputy position specifically for it. So here we have a deputy for operations, then one for general services. You know, so what are they doing specifically that one person can't do?
I would want to have these questions that you're raising answered before I I get on board the debates.
So shouldn't we raise the questions?
No, that's why I said, so you've raised the questions. I would appreciate if these are answered before I get on board with my comments. Because without appreciating the bigger picture, I can't just sit down and say that because they've created a deputy director in charge of administration and operations and general services, then it means these are things that other people could have done, other people already employed. I don't know that. I would want to appreciate their structure very well, what they each do, what they're bringing on board, before I begin to criticize. That's just me.
But I'm sure you also have questions of your own.
No, I mean, the questions that you're asking are legitimate questions. They're questions that I would ask.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying that we should appreciate, like, get those questions answered, and then we can fairly criticize.
And of course, it's not just in the institutions. We've seen it in the ministries as well. So there's just a general trend across the president's appointments in this government.
But are these positions appointed, like, these are presidential appointments?
Yes.
All the deputies?
Yes.
Incredible.
Yeah. So, yeah, I mean, there's a trend across the president's appointments of more is more, you know, and it's not about lean government.
I guess the issue is the fact that we want to see more, so there should be more value, you know, there should be more, like we should be gaining a lot more if we have all these people being appointed.
But yeah, there's also the simple theoretical question of if you are managing an institution or a government, is it more that gives more results? Is that how it works? That the more people you appoint, the more results you get? Is that principle even valid?
We have to look at those other countries who've made it.
Well, for me, when I took a look at it, I thought these are specialized institutions. This is a science and technology-based institution. It does supervision over. So if you don't have experience in there, then it becomes a difficulty trying to justify somebody from another field being there. But of course, that
I think what hurts is the fact that we have all these people, sometimes with incredible qualifications, and we still have the challenges that we have today. You know, it's like we haven't moved forward. So, nothing has changed. We're still stuck.
Yeah, so
I think that's what gets a lot of people angry. You know, all these portfolio.
Roland's point is also a good one.
So it's always a question I have. For example, if you appoint a politician to a certain institution, the politician is fine. I don't have any difficulty. But does he have the experience and the expertise? And we know people have been career politicians. And since 1992, it's been like this. You go off, no work. I mean, virtually, go do your stuff 8 years and you come back for 8 years and you're appointed to head a specialized institution or even
you
be
become
part
a
of management of a specialized
institution. Be a high
institution.
commissioner.
So
and you talk
this
to people
happens.
anyhow.
So it makes those who really have had the academic training, the technical training, and the experience on the job being relegated and taking yes and massa instructions from the politician. That is why the institutions are not moving.
I mean, someone has raised the question, is the president trying to create a parallel system alongside the civil service? Does he feel that perhaps the civil service is not delivering, so he's trying to put as many of his people in place as possible?
Is that the case?
You know,
someone is asking, someone has raised that question.
We had them talk, but they've been quiet, so I don't know. The civil service, they raised some concerns about ministers coming in with their own people.
Especially the finance ministry at the time. They said they had all these consultants.
But you see, Ghana media, because they are not talking, we assume that everything is well and good.
Anyway, so let's go to my Joe Online, Mama V.
Yeah, and things are coming out of KNUST. You won't believe it. This is one of those unbelievable stories. KNUST lecturers cane students. Others ordered to kneel in rain. But let's run through the stories. We have not borrowed 50 billion cedis, MP Paris Mahama claims. Also on the page, so this is the journalist who was murdered. And there's Ghanaian American editor leads campaign to seek justice. But now Mr. Trump is also changing his initial position, sort of.
On this matter.
On this matter.
Well, no news there. Donald Trump changes his position like a baby changes
the West Africa Center
usually for the same reason.
For cell biology of infectious pathogens organizes free breast screening on UG campus. It's still Breast Cancer Awareness Month of October, the pink month. Israel's approach to effective development cooperation. That's what Mashav. There's a video. JoyNews agenda. Lightless Tema motorway hunts accident victims. And Juliet Ibrahim confirms breakup, won't admit her ex cheated. Khashoggi again, Meva planned days in advance. That's Turkey's president saying. And yesterday, he got all of us waiting to hear the details because he says he was going to tell us the naked truth. But he said very little, very little.
The truth wasn't as naked as he promised.
Very little.
No, it's because the truth was what already was circulating in the media. So.
Reject aspirant seeking to bribe you, Guzi to NDC delegates. So these are amongst the headlines, the stories we have on myjoyonline.com. I guess this is the one that's getting some of us thinking, is it true or not? KNUST lecturers,
I don't know about that.
KN students?
Are you sure?
And ask others to kneel in the rain.
You
So
see,
why haven't they said anything? Why is this coming out now?
Well, you see,
are you sure that in tertiary institution you could be told to kneel down?
But are you sure that in tertiary institutions you can be told to be in bed by 8? KNUST did it. So,
no,
so
but it was
sometimes
because of the special circumstance. Was it
What
not because
was
of the rioting, because of what had
No.
happened? Or this was a
No.
directive
This was an existing thing.
even before the chaos?
Yes.
That you should be in bed.
Mama B.
No way.
Mama B, just check for yourself.
No way.
Just check for yourself.
Life should be
Lights
off at
should be
10.
off at 10
In a tertiary
Are you
institution.
kidding
No,
me?
no.
What kind of university life is that?
I'm surprised that you
The
guys
vice
don't know
chancellor did
about
that.
No.
I'm surprised you don't know about
No,
it. This
no.
is all part of what the university students have been agitating over.
No.
That if you come home, if you come back to your hall after a certain time, the gates will be shut.
No.
And bear in mind, there are people in university who are older than me.
Yeah.
Okay? And this,
And they may
this
have other
vice chancellor was
responsibilities.
telling them they have to be in bed by 8. Basically, you have to be in your hall by 8. You remember they were saying that there was a statement put out. You can't be coming out of a girl's room at a certain time.
How?
That this is all.
So if I went to study with a colleague a mate who is a lady.
Forget it. Your
Okay.
vice chancellor says you can't.
No.
Yeah.
I saw what he did.
I'm surprised you don't know this.
No, I don't know. So
That's why
let's
you are
do-
doubting the story.
Let's do the BBC. Vital ambulance service phases closure. This has to do with Somalia. Somalia's bomb-hit capital. Well, I can't see properly. Okay. Relies on a free first aid team, but it is having to scale down operations. Okay, there are other stories. Pastors, televised rape trial shocks South Africa. Ghana University shut over Jamboree riot. So there you have it. Like, we've made it to the BBC. Congratulations, KNUST.
Okay.
SA apartheid leader to be buried. Short curfew break in Tens, Nigeria city. Roland, you were going to say?
Today is the birthday of Francis Poku. Mr. Francis Poku is a former national security minister. Good morning to you. It's coming from Francis.
I've got a little test for you too. So we know about the United Nations, right? We all talk about the UN. When was the UN formed? The two of you?
Oh, don't
Anybody
do that
can
to
answer.
us.
Anybody can answer.
Oh my gosh. It was
1941?
after the Second World War.
1945.
Okay, yeah, you're both correct. After the Second World War, correct? 1945, correct. Today is UN Day. How old do you think the UN is?
Oh, it's very easy for us to take it.
Yeah.
Because it was after the Second World War. So definitely after the Second World War, we do the calculation.
So 73 years old.
You guys
So
should think you're
73.
smart.
Very easy. But
Okay,
what-
last
what
question. When did Ghana join? When was Ghana accepted?
Very, very easy for us to. So 1960. 1960.
Wrong.
1950.
No, go ahead.
1958.
No, should have remained at 7.
Oh,
It's
we're
UN
57.
Day, people.
Okay,
yes, just a little test. Today.
I thought you asked when we
Ghana
became a
accepted into
republic.
the UN?
Hey!
Is that
I
what
did-
was the
I
question?
beg,
Wait,
Oh, then
wait.
it's
You
1957.
said when was Ghana accepted into the UN?
Exactly.
And you said it's 1950 what?
7.
Are you sure?
Yes, I
It's
am.
not 58.
I am absolutely sure.
Well, your
In
father
fact,
told
give
me.
me the month and the dates.
It's-
now that
it's
you're
not-
now that you're pushing me,
It is September.
liar. Okay.
We had Republic.
It's not like
1st July 19. Oh,
go ahead.
19.
Stop giving wrong filler.
1st July.
Stop giving wrong filler. It's not like I'm some Shak Biama. I am reading from somewhere. So let me give the information so we can all learn. Ghana joins the rest of the world. It's actually a statement that's been issued to commemorate the 73rd anniversary of the founding of the United Nations on 24th October 1945 in San Francisco in the United States of America.
We joined in 45. Is that what you're saying?
No.
So
I said that was
Ghana
going to
join?
Oh, it's 1957 after independence.
Day and month.
March 8th, 1957.
Really? Yes. 2 days after
that was when we were admitted.
2 days after independence.
Exactly. Into the United Nations.
And
we've since remained very respectable. We've had some incredible people take on leadership positions, and the statement outlines a few, but I'm not sure we have time to do that, do we?
Right. And as a result of that, the Minister of Foreign Affairs...
Riddle. The prominent people who have been in leadership positions in the UN, minus Kofi Annan.
Oh, where is it? We have Dr. Mwako. Dr. Mwako is here. He's been mentioned.
Yes.
Yeah. I have mentioned.
Okay. Patrick says we should go away. So.
No, as a result of that, we'll have a model UN summit in Accra. It will be in attendance. We'll be having the Foreign Affairs and Regional Integration Minister and the UN Resident Coordinator. It will be the Model UN Summit at the Accra International Conference Center today from 8 a.m. to mark World UN Day. Ahead of that, there will be a flag-raising ceremony to be performed at the forecourt of the State House this morning at 10. And please just get in touch with Emmanuel Arthur. We'll bring you all the latest update on that. All
right, we've got a cyber conversation. We have a Deputy Communications Minister joining us, but that will be after sports. There was a lot of Champions League matches yesterday. The results, the goals, what you missed coming up, minus Manchester United. Stay with us.